about that. Well, actually, I went to an astrology conference in Chicago, and I met Shaitan Parkeen, and he has a human design book that I bought from him. He was at an astrology conference there. I met the Leo King, Nadia Shah. It was real nice over there. And I got introduced to human design back then, so that must have been 2016 or something like that.
Okay.
And then about last year, I found out he doesn't say anything about caves environment. He doesn't talk about
Okay.
environment at all. But I found out from another human design person that I went to the chart and everything, and they said that I'm a caves person. When I started reading about caves, I'm like, yeah, it's me.
Interesting.
The back of my wall, the back of my chair is a wall, and caves likes to have walls behind them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they like to. Anyway, so it was really interesting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a caves person. There's
Oh, it's cool.
there's like
Actually,
market kitchen. There's lots of other design environments. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I have an online community, and in our community, I have a human design teacher,
Oh, you do.
and yeah, and she's a human design and gene keys and
And keys too.
astrologer.
Wow, yeah, I just heard
She's
about
all
those. Yeah,
Yeah, she's all three. So, but she has a wonderful way of teaching, and for me, I find it like a little out there. Not that I don't respect it, I do. It's just like beyond my comprehension. So I choose not to do it so much. I let her do it. So she
yeah, yeah.
teaches in our
That's
community.
great. Yeah, gene
Um,
keys. I just heard about that. I'm not too familiar with that, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's like I kind of prefer the gene keys to be honest to human design. I find it a little bit more applicable, maybe.
Okay.
But anyway, it all has a place,
Yeah.
and not everything is going to gravitate with you, and some of it will, and some of it won't, and some of it you'll outgrow and go on to something else, right? So it's cool. It's all good. Do you want me to record this for you, John?
Please.
I'll do that.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So I usually like to start out by asking people, what was that moment when you went, oh, that's it, I got to call Ann Perry? Like, what was that all about?
Okay. Um, I I began. I was first introduced to numerology. I'd say like 2004.
Okay.
So I started getting into it a lot back then,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started getting into astrology, and I asked my mom what time my birth was, and she told me at 11:30 in the morning. So I put that in, and that made me a Scorpio rising.
Okay.
And I read it, and I didn't apply at all. I'm like, this is bunk, this is
Yeah.
no good. And then like got divorced August 2015, and to get divorced, I needed my birth certificates. So I found my birth certificate in my file cabinet, and it said I was born at 7:28 a.m., which made me Virgo rising.
Yeah, there you
And so I
go.
started like getting into astrology back then. I'm like, wait, I am a Virgo rising. I started looking at that, and then YouTube started being popular back then too, around 2015. So I got into astrology really, 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 really. I dove in.
Yeah.
And last year in 2023, I took two astrology classes. I took two from Astro Butterfly. I took a 10-week module, and then I took another advanced module for 10 weeks.
Hmm.
And then I took a Chiron module for 3 weeks. And then I started getting interested in stuff, and I wanted to put a YouTube station together, and I started a channel called Reality Within.
Hmm.
And what I want to do with my channel is help people know thyself.
Hmm.
And the way I did it was through methodologies such as numerology, astrology. I started looking at human design this past year or so. Also, I don't know too much about human. I know I'm a manifesting generator, so I know about my
I
human
am.
design.
I am
You
too.
are too, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
My sister and my niece are also manifesting generators.
Wow.
So, and I have a sacral and an emotional
Hmm. Me too.
center. So yeah, the emotional is kind of what throws a lot of people off, because it's kind of like you got to ride the wave,
Yeah.
and like I got projects all up in the air. I wrote a poetry book 2018, and my book's right here. Waterside Time
Nice.
Waterside Time Machine Portal.
Beautiful. Good for you. That's awesome.
And now I last month I finished my second poetry book. That was book Alpha, and I finished book Omega. And in the meantime, I took one piece from the poetry book, the last
Yep.
piece. It's called The Enemy Within,
Hmm.
and I wanted to elaborate on it because I liked the idea that was in that piece, and it turned out to be like a 35-page essay 10 days later.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, holy Christ, And
Yeah.
that book that became another book, and right now I have two books with two different editors right now.
Good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've got one
And
written, but I'm not that far.
and here's
Okay.
here's the cover
Embrace of
of
Divine Love. Oh, I like it.
where is it?
Very nice.
Embrace Divine Love, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically it's about going within, finding the divine, and then following the divine. That's basically
Right.
simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what that book is about. And in the meantime, I've been like reintroducing numerology to my life.
Okay.
Like I'm in a sixth personal month right now,
Okay.
and that's how I found your information online on YouTube especially. And
Yeah.
I really like how you're like direct and really like also down to earth kind
I
of
try to be. Yeah.
of talking and presenting your information. And I really like the way you break down everything.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Well, I like watching your stuff, and you have and you focus on like numerology on a broad level, like the whole it seems like you encompass a lot of different types and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
thought that
Well,
was really good.
I like to
Figured
make it
reading,
applicable, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I don't want to make it so. My thing was I wanted to make it so it wasn't scary, and then I
yeah,
want people to be able to, apply it and go, wow, that is kind of cool, rather than being nervous about it or whatever. I just like to make it easy to understand, make it applicable. I'm not airy fairy. I'm kind of grounded. I like things very simple, okay, and math is not my thing, right? So maybe that was part of it was that I still do have a very big, strong math phobia. I've had it since I was a little kid.
I count on my hands.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I'm like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah,
I kind
why
of
not?
when I do readings for my friends, I use I count on my hands because it's like
Yeah,
the math just can't escapes me when I try to do it in my head. You know?
no room up here for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I like your style. I figured I'll do it. One
Good.
more thing. I'm planning on moving to Greece in the summer,
Okay.
most likely. I went there last year in May. I went there this past year in May for 26 days.
Yeah.
And um and basically I have a website called restoringourworldtoparadise.com, and I'm kind of like revamping that because it's like a book right now and I don't like it because websites shouldn't be a book. They should be more concise. Like your website is just boom boom boom, easy to follow.
Well, it needs to be. I like to look at a website as a living, breathing thing, right? That you can't just put it up there and say, okay, it's finished, because it's not, right? It's going to change all the time. Like I just redid all of the verbiage for my Clarity Seekers community because I realized that I wasn't really speaking to the potential client or
Mhm.
member. I wasn't speaking their language. And I recognized that. I thought, this is wrong. So I had to redo the whole thing. But that comes with time,
Yeah.
and next year that verbiage might not sound right because things will change, right? So I like to leave it so it kind of has a little bit of room to breathe and move. But so what's the website again? Restore
Restoringourworldtoparadise.com.
Our World. Okay,
Yeah, restoringourworldtoparadise.com.
cool.
And right now it's just I mean, it's just a lot of words, 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 words. But now I have like another way. I'm going to be like revamping it in the next couple of weeks during this Mercury retrograde, and I have like a whole vision that I have. It's more simpler and concise
Mhm.
and easier to understand. And but I have like a direction of where I want to go now. So,
Good. That's
and
great.
now that both books are with the editors and they're going to be coming back in the next couple of weeks. I'll have time to do that. But that's like manifesting generators. We have so many projects going on. You know, I have a children's book I want to do. I got a moon journal.
So, okay. So before we got together on the call, I don't always do this, John, but I felt inspired to do this for you.
Okay.
I went into my Wisdom of the Oracle. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but this is Colette Baron Reed.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's a Canadian. And I just asked Spirit to guide me to a card that would hold the message that you needed to hear today. So before I even get into your reading, I need to share this with you. Okay.
Okay.
I kind of laughed when I picked the card because I get this card all the time and I'm a manifesting generator as well. So anyway, the card that I picked for you is called Unfinished Symphony.
Wow.
Okay. Now it's a 10. Okay. So you might know that the 1 and the 0 relate to creativity, authenticity, originality, leadership, all those sorts of things. But the 0 is about working with your intuitive gifts.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So
unconscious.
let me read for you what it said. And I think you're going to go, holy shit, this is like really accurate. The essential meaning of the card is unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, a lack of closure, the need to make amends. It says this is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project and mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practice radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you're leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what has passed so that the symphony can finally end on a high note.
Nice. That's
Right?
amazing.
Isn't that amazing? That's kind
Yeah,
of
it's like yeah, there's so many things happening right now, but they're all like coming together slowly, you
okay.
know?
There's another piece to it. It
Okay.
says, make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones.
Uh,
Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art. Tie up loose ends so that you can move forward with surety, knowing you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future.
Perfect. And that's what I want. I have like all these things I'd like to do, but right now my focus is on both those books that I have.
Yep.
Right now, the one book is with my niece Daphne, and she's got like six credits, and she's a senior in college in Loyola. So I don't know how long it's going to take her to complete editing. It may be by Christmas, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
my friend Patrick, who's going to edit my Embracing Divine Love book, he said he'll be done in about a week or two. So
It's going to be divine
yeah,
timing.
I'm just doing slowly, slowly, and I want to get one thing done, one thing done, one thing done before I start like all these other things. Like this book Omega, the poetry book.
Yep.
I I basically had it all ready to go in 2018,
Okay.
and I just sat on it
Yep.
until now.
I'm just looking something up for you. I meant to look this up earlier because there's some really cool stuff going on in your chart right now. Hang on. Here it is. Okay, so we want this, we want this, we want that. I meant to do this earlier. Uh-huh. Okay. Wow. So before I even get going in this reading, I'm going to say that. I gotta back up a little further. Did you have a bit of a rough time through COVID?
Not really.
No?
I moved into my mom's house,
Okay.
I moved into my mom's house, and I was on my own back then. I just started Uber driving in 2018. So
Mm-hmm.
I was in my second, third year of driving for Uber. I was making a lot of money. And then like when COVID happened, Uber kind of like stopped. So I
Yep.
wasn't making money, and I got another job at this carpet company that's very popular in Chicago called Empire Carpet.
Okay.
And I was going like to houses and doing presentations, but I was having a hard time doing that. But I was making some money, which
Mhm.
which which would be more money than I did during COVID. Um, and then like around July, my friend Armando said Uber's picking up again, so I quit that job and I went back to Uber.
Right.
But it wasn't. I mean, health-wise, I was fine. I didn't have any
Yeah.
problems.
Well,
The moving
actually,
back into my mom's house was the hard thing because that just kind of like put a cramp on everything
of
because
course.
I take
Yeah,
care of
yeah.
my mom, you know. And now she passed away last year in June 2023.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
Well, I'm looking at your chart because this reading's gonna be very different than the ones I normally do, John, because um you already have a certain degree of familiarity with numerology anyway. So I don't want to bore you with all the rhetoric that I usually go through,
Okay.
right? So, but I don't want to assume too much either, so I don't want to miss anything. But this is just really interesting to me. So I looked back on your chart, 2015. I know that's a way ago, a little while ago, but 2015 was a big year for you. That was a very significant year for you. I feel that there was something related to your work that may have collapsed.
Yeah, I lost all my jobs. I kept getting hired and fired, quitting, fired, quitting,
Yep.
fired. Yeah,
Yep.
it was terrible. But
Okay.
my divorce happened August 2015. I got filed for divorce February 2015.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. Okay. So you're in 2015. You were, it's interesting because it's a whole cycle we're going around. 2015, you were in a 22-4 personal year. Okay. So I know that
Right.
you study astrology. Now I'm going to say that in numerology, we observe that your personal year begins January. And I know in astrology, you guys like to think it starts on your birthday, and we can't prove either way, which is right. So
Okay, I see.
there's no problem with that with me. But from my purposes and the chart that you're going to receive, everything starts January 1st. So anyway, January of 2015, you were in a 22-4 personal year. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with essences. Are you familiar with essences? Okay,
No.
good. Oh, good. Okay. So this is something I can teach you. So if I was in a personal year of 4 and you were in a personal year of 4, I'd say, John, here's the deal. You and I, we're both going to have a very similar year this year because a 4 is a 4 is a 4, right? The 4 is going to be about focus. It's about discipline. It's about your work. It's about building a foundation. It's kind of makes you feel like you're in a bit of a box, right? Feeling a little stuck. Same for everybody, right? But you're going to go through it very differently than I'm going to go through it because your name on your birth certificate is very different than mine. So I want you to think of the 9-year cycle that we observe in numerology as a black and white template. Okay, so
Okay.
every single year in that black and white template has a theme to it that is going to resonate for everybody pretty much the same way. So we want to bring it to life so I can read it more personally for you. Okay. Now, the personal year begins January 1st, ends December 31st. Okay, so every January, faithfully, you're going to get a new personal year. Same as the universe changes its year, you're going to change yours. Your essence, however, begins on your birthday. Okay, and it'll go birthday to birthday. So it'll start on your birthday and it will usually end the day before your next birthday, but it is possible for the essence to remain the same for up to 9 years. Okay, so this is why I wanted to talk to you about this because I'm seeing recurring essences with you that go for quite a long time and it's really unusual. So 2015, 22-4, personal year. You came into 2015 with an 8 essence. Okay, so this is you focusing on your work and your foundation and whatever what you and your wife had accumulated together, whatever assets you had or investments or whatever you had. That's you thinking about those, right? And I assume that you probably lost a fair bit because you went into what's called a 16-7 essence on your birthday in 2015. When I see a 16-7 essence, I know it's a crash and burn, right? It's not pretty. It's a crash, a burn, and a learn. Okay.
Yeah, I basically got divorced just before my birthday.
In 2015.
Yeah, I got divorced August like 15th, 20th, and my
Yeah.
birthday is the 24th.
Okay. Yeah. Of 2015.
2015, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That always totally makes sense. Okay. So what happens if you know tarot at all? You know that the tarot, in the tarot deck, the number 16 card is the Tower.
Oh, really?
So you had a Tower moment, right?
Wow. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's something that makes sense, doesn't it? So you had a Tower moment in August of 2015. So the tower should be standing like this, but it's not. It's coming down off of its foundation. It's been hit by lightning. Everybody's jumping to their death.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
horrible card. So it indicates the rise and the fall of the ego. It causes a lot of confusion. It will cause you to feel very distracted, directionless, confused, disconnected from spirit, just really all by yourself, right? And
Yeah.
scrambling to figure out what the hell's my next move, you know? So you're kind of spouting around the drain a little bit. And the only way out of that is to surrender and trust in something bigger than yourself. And I know that you're there now. I feel that, but I'm not so sure you were back then. If you were really connected to spirit back then, the same way you are now.
I wasn't. No, back then I was just demolished.
Right, exactly, exactly. So that's what that 16-7 does. But the 16-7 is actually, it's an interesting essence. I mean, I don't like seeing it on a chart. I have it coming up next year.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I don't like to see it. However, I also know that we're always so much better off for having gone through it, right? So I get it that it's difficult. And where it lands gives you a bit of an indication as to where you're struggling. Okay. So in your case, you went into the 16-7 essence in a 22-4 year. So the 22-4 year says, I feel the need, and you're an 11, right? So I feel the need to create some kind of solid foundation that will support humanity in some way. And all of a sudden, your world blows up because your marriage does. And now you're moving back in with your family, and everything's crumbling. And it's just a real shit show, right? So that, it's not rocket science, or I wouldn't be doing it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, now we're gonna shift into 2016. You come into a 5 personal year. You still have your 16-7 essence. So the good thing about this, John, is that when a 16-7 essence comes in for just 1 year, it's like, and it's over. It's 12 months of a shit show and then it's done. Okay. And you come
Okay.
out of it better for having gone through it. However, when this kind of an essence goes on for a few years, it does have an impact. There's no question, but it doesn't have that jolting, impact that leaves a nasty mark. It gives you a chance to kind of get used to it and work your way through it and take advantage of the good lessons that come from it. And that is the case for you. Okay. So in the 5 personal year, that's about change, unexpected events, didn't see that coming. A little bit of boredom, restlessness going on. What do you mean I have a tax bill I have to pay that I didn't know about as a result of my, divorce or whatever, that kind of stuff. You were still pretty low. I will say that. There's no question you're still pretty low. Um, I'm going to say that did you lose somebody in 2017, a family member?
No.
No? Okay, because this in 2017 you were in a 6 personal year, which definitely is a focus on home and family, but you're still in that 16-7 essence, right? So this is you questioning, where is home? Am I ever going to be out on my own again? Am I ever going to be able to reestablish myself? Am I?
That's when I moved out of my mom's. I was with my mom when I got divorced. I
Okay.
was separated for a couple of years, so I was living with my mom. And then around 2000, when was it? 2017?
Hmm.
2000, either 2016 or 2017, I moved out of my mom's house
Okay.
and I went on my own.
Hmm.
And I think it was like 2018, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, 2008, 2017, 18. I moved out of my place. During the 6 personal years when I moved out of my place,
Okay.
at my mom's house and I got my own place.
Makes
And
sense.
yeah, yeah. And then,
Okay.
and I was like, I couldn't hold on to a job for more than like 4 months
Okay.
or even less sometimes. I kept on either getting fired or I would quit. I would
Yeah.
get hired real easily. I'm good at in the interview,
Yeah.
but I just said this isn't for me, and I just left, or I got fired a couple times, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, and when you moved into 2018, you went into a 7 personal year with a 16-7 essence. I'm going to say that is just the shittiest lineup ever. Like there's no ever.
Really? Because you're
Yeah.
all alone?
Oh, it's just like the 7 is very introspective, reflective, it's quiet. And then let's put a healthy dose of a 16-7 essence on top of that. Holy moly.
And that was 2018, huh?
Yeah, that was not a fun year. I can see that. That
Well,
was,
that's when I published this book. In February 2018, I published this book.
well, that's
And
good.
if you see this, this is a spirit going
Yes.
into the sun, and I call
Okay.
it I Surrender. It's a painting I made
Wow.
when I was in Skokie, but when I was a kid, in my 20s. So it's like I surrender. It's like a spirit going into the sun, you know,
Hmm. Okay.
basically
Cool.
surrendering. That's what,
Well, that's what that was all about. That's brilliant.
yeah,
I love that. I love to hear
yeah.
that because that's what 2018 was all about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I
Right?
got a job at Uber. Now I'm with Uber. This February, I'm going to be 7 years with Uber.
Yeah, I think you'd be great at that too.
Yeah, I love that. My
Yeah.
rating is 4.99,
No way. Where's the
which is
other
like
point one?
amazing. Huh? I don't
Where's the
know.
other point one?
Some people, I rub people the wrong way. Some people that are ridiculous, you know. I'm not good with ridiculous people.
All right. So here's
I
the
had
thing
a
though. Like,
I had a 5-star rating for about a year and a half, you
no
know, and
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
The 16.7 was less
6,
than one.
7. You had the 16-7 essence for 7 years. I don't think I've ever known anyone to have gone through a 16-7 essence for 7 years. It's a long time. But that's like
Calculate.
a 7-year dark night of the soul.
I was like deep into it, and now
Yeah.
that my mom passed away, I'm completely out of it. I'm
Yep.
full steam throttle ahead now.
Yeah. Yes, you are, because last year, 2023, you were in a 3 personal year. Okay, so the 3 year is all about communication, expression, creativity, writing your books, thinking about what's the next one. It's a little busy. I'm going to say the 3 personal year can be a little busy and distracting. It's quite social. Um, so it's not always the best year to get a lot done. But what I do like about it, which I find really, really interesting for you, is that you came out of your 16-7 essence on your birthday, okay? And you went into an 11 essence. Right? The 11 essence is a big,
Really?
yeah.
On my birthday in 2023, huh?
Yep. Now, let me
That's
tell you about the 11 essence.
that's when I sold my mom's house with my sister because my
Mhm.
mom passed away June 2023. And we had apartment buildings with my mom. I've been managing my mom's apartment building since my dad died. My dad died in 87.
Okay.
And then my mom took the money from the restaurant because we had a restaurant pancake house. And then she bought apartment buildings in 1990. And I've been
Mhm.
managing these apartment buildings for 34 years.
Wow.
So we sold everything.
Wow.
Starting on my birthday, but about a month or two later, we put the buildings up in the market, and then we put the house on the market. And by February, all of them were sold. February, March of 2024, everything was sold.
Wow. Well, it's interesting. You see, your mom passed in June of
June
2020.
2023, yeah.
Yeah, that was a 9 personal month for you.
Yeah, how about that,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, that was a 9 personal month for you. And when you went into um, August, which your birthday is August, right? Yeah. Uh, when when you went into your birthday, 2023, you went into an 11 essence. So this is what the 11 essence will do. I am 65 years old. I have only been in an 11 essence once in my entire life, and it was only for 1 year. Okay. It was in 2013. I was going into my 7 personal year, which is all about what next, what do I want, where do I want to be, where do I want to live, what do I want to do, all that kind of stuff, right? A lot of introspective stuff.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And a month or so before my birthday, maybe 2 months before my birthday, before I went, just slightly before I went into my 11 essence, I woke up and looked at my ex-husband and went, can't do this anymore.
I'm
I,
done.
I knew, I knew I wasn't happy, but
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't looking to leave him or anything. But Spirit came to me and said, guess what, girlfriend? He's not it. Oh, and by the way, the guy that you're working for over there that signs your paycheck, yeah, he's your soulmate. Go get him.
Wow.
And it was like, shh, I blew my world up. I left my husband. I went with my boss, and we've been living together and married and happy ever since. So,
Nice.
but that's what the 11 will do. The 11 brings in illumination. The 11 will turn the lights on. That's why you're feeling better. Because on your birthday last year, somebody flicked the lights on and went, John, look around, get your head out of the sand, look around and see what needs to be done. See what you need to create. Because you're not just an 11, right? You're 3811. Do you know that?
That's my life path, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now your
Yeah,
chart
I
when
know
you
I'm a 3811, but I really don't know exactly what that means.
okay. So um your chart, when you get it, will simply say you're a 2. And the reason for that is because I didn't write your chart. Your chart was written by Matthew Oliver Goodwin. So
Yeah,
Matthew
I have his books.
yes, so you know him. Okay, so he would, the way that he does his calculations, he would come down and say you are straight up 2, right? 20/2. Now, when I first learned numerology, a million years ago, it seems, when you add the numbers straight across, for me, I come up as a 34/7. I totally get it that I'm a 7, but the 34/7 didn't make sense because the 3 says I have to learn how to communicate, I have to learn how to express myself. I don't have any issues with that, right? The 4 says I have to be disciplined, hardworking, focused. I got all that, right? So that just didn't sit right. But then I was introduced to the work of Matthew Oliver Goodwin, who says, okay, break the date of birth down, independently. Then I come up as a 16/7, and I'm like, damn straight. I get that. I know. I totally understand the lesson of the number 1, the sub lesson of the 1. Totally get the sub lesson of the number 6. So I can be the best 7 I can be. And let's bring in the value added bonus of the 16/7 karmic debt, right? So his
Wow.
work in my mind was the holy grail. Like I thought I had fallen onto something that was just. So for a while, I adopted the concept that his way was the only way. And then recently, in the last probably 3 years, I softened that approach, and I actually did a retractment on a very popular video I have on YouTube, where I said this is the only way to do the calculation. I took it back and said, no, you know what? Um, Getting to know you, I know you're a 3811. I feel it. I just know it, right? So that blows the theory of
Yeah,
Matthew Oliver Goodwin. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get it. I get it.
So you can, but I think it's important to examine both life path numbers, the 20/2 and the 3811, because you are sort of part and parcel of the same. Like there are times when I can act like a 34/7, but
The
I know in my
vibrations.
heart I'm a 16/7.
They're
Right?
vibrations. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So anyway, I feel you're 3811. So what does that mean? So that means that you have the sub lesson of the 3, okay, which is I must learn how to communicate. I have to learn how to express myself. I've got to learn to get rid of the inner critic that's constantly telling me I'm not good enough. I have to lose my self-judgment, you know. That's why I think writing the book that you're writing about divine love is so important. It's absolutely what you were intended to do. I mean, you're totally in alignment with that. The 8, of course, is about self-empowerment. And it's about taking back your power if it was ever taken from you, or did you surrender it? Maybe in your marriage, did you allow her to kind of call all the shots and, be all that and leaving
Oh,
you?
we fought every day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we ended up having 5 marriage therapists in a period of 3 years.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she basically says to me, she goes, John, I want to debate you with something. And I go, okay, Bonnie, but why can't we have a conversation? She goes, no, I want to debate. And I go, well, listen, Bonnie, I go, if we have a conversation, we can get things going and we can figure out what we want to do. But if you want to have a debate, you're going to lose every time, and I'm going to win every time. I will never, ever let you win. You will always be the loser. So you want to debate or do you want to have a conversation?
Right.
And she would debate. and I would destroy her
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time.
What was her date of birth,
That's my
John?
attitude, you know. Huh?
What was her date of birth?
Her date of birth was August 5th, 1976.
She's a 9.
Enemy number.
The what? The enemy number.
You ever heard of enemy numbers? This
No.
guy, Shem's Universe, he has like enemy numbers, like eights don't get along with like so and so's and so and so's, and he has enemy numbers. You never heard of him?
Mm,
Anyway, yeah,
yeah,
he told me.
Glennis McCants, she's a numerologist, and Glennis talks about, the compatibility factor and the incompatibility factor of life path numbers, and there's a certain degree of truth to them. But I mean, I'm a 7, my husband's a 9. Theoretically, by her theory, we should not be compatible. I've never met anybody
See,
we're compatible with.
I'm joking around when he says these enemy numbers, and I think according to him, she was my enemy. But I mean, I fell in love with her.
Well, right, but there was
You know?
there was a contract that existed between you
Yeah,
guys,
it was a contract. Yeah,
right?
like
So I mean, when it's up, it's up.
yeah.
So
So what does she come up to? Let's see.
she's a 9,
Yeah,
which
she's a
you're a
nine.
2, she's a 9, right? So a 9's an odd number, the 2 is the even number. So right there's a little bit of conflict
Yeah.
for sure, right? But she
Shem
has
says Shem says that nines are angry, can be angry people. Anyways,
any of us can,
anyways can be, right?
right?
Exactly. Sorry about that.
That's all right. 5, 18, 9. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that she's an 18-9, and that's where the conflict came in because you're a 38-11. So you're both reaching for power. You were both trying to establish power, and that's where the conflict came in. But the
Oh,
38-11, right? Because the
she
thing
was,
is, when
she
you
was,
look at it,
she was very domineering.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And so the 8 sits closest to the slash, 1-8/9. The 8 is the biggest sub lesson for her to overcome so that she can be the best 9 she can be. Okay. So in your case, you're a 38-11. All right. So this is combining creativity with your material success. So writing your books, creating your websites, probably going to create some courses and teach down the road or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
Down the road.
it's about combining creativity with material success. It's about expressing your energy with compassion and with generosity. It's understanding that you're not here for your own personal financial gain. Okay. It's understanding that you need to find ways to be of service to a larger audience.
Yeah, that's what I figured out. That's what I'm being intuitively drawn towards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think you've got this, which is, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but for a guy that's Greek, this is a very large lesson because you guys are like the Jews, in the sense that you love to make some serious money. You're going to work your asses
Yeah.
off to do it, right? But it's all about what can I acquire and how much can I build and how big can the whole, all of it be. I mean, your family's an example of that. Have the restaurant now, we've got all these apartment buildings and stuff, which is amazing. It's great, especially as immigrants too. I mean, that's incredible.
One
But
job. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was just going to say the when I think about myself as an example, I've been an entrepreneur as long as I can remember. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 6 years old. I had my first little business when I was 6, believe it or not. Um, and but nobody teaches you how to be an entrepreneur. You just learn it as you go, kind of thing. And being an entrepreneur means nobody's going to give you a paycheck. You have to work for it. You have to find it. You have to go after it, right? So there's a lot of push, push, push. And you're pushing these boulders up the hill to make the money, and you're advertising and you're promoting and you're putting on these sales and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it's all a lot of hard work, right? But what I've learned is that it's not about chasing the opportunity to make the money, right? It absolutely is not. It's about, and this is what which, and I don't mean this just, like I say, disrespectfully, but the Greek culture has a lot to learn from you, okay? Because it's not about running and chasing and fighting and clawing and scratching your way through to the top and making the money, chasing the opportunity to make the money. It's chasing the opportunity to be of service, and then the money comes.
Yeah.
But most of us have it asked backwards because we don't know any differently.
I want to mention a couple things. One, a job, and one, my recovery. I was a drug addict, and I got clean in 1994, November 20th
Good for
was my
you.
clean date. So, and I just, this past November 20th, I celebrated 30 years clean and sober.
Amazing. Good for
And
you.
I was in Narcotics Anonymous for like how many years now?
Mhm.
And over like 29 years. And then in June, I went to my last Narcotics Anonymous meeting. In July, I jumped ship and I left and I went to Alcoholics Anonymous now. Because what I was finding, I was going to both meetings for about a year since last Libra season, September. I was going to AA meetings and NA meetings both in combination, in tandem, because I had met this newcomer and he took me to both these meetings, and I made like this whole other friend group over there. And I said goodbye in July to those people. And I mean, I said hello to Alcoholics Anonymous. Now I'm in an AA. I have a sponsor. I have a home group. I'm doing good. I've been going to a lot of meetings, making a lot of new friends, and I said goodbye to Narcotics Anonymous, but I've been in
Mhm.
recovery. And basically, the reason I said goodbye was because of these meetings that I've been going to with NA, they stopped talking about God. They stopped talking about God as a solution. And I was
Mhm.
going to these AA meetings, and like every single AA meeting I went to, God, God's
Mhm.
the solution. God, work
Mhm.
the steps. God. And I'm like, what is this? I became a public relations chairperson for 6 months
Mhm.
towards the last AA NA thing, and I was telling people this is how we could turn it around. This is how we could bring more people in, and nobody came to my meetings. Nobody. I said NA is dying. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, is it growing? They're like, oh, everybody said, no, NA is not growing. I'm like, okay, then it's dying.
And it should be.
And then it's like, I left.
Right.
So I'm in this now. And another thing, I used to have a job. I used to be an outside salesperson for a dealership with ADT. I used to knock on 100 doors a day, 100% commission, and I'd be in people's homes every night
Yeah.
selling alarm systems. So
Mhm.
I was a hustler. I was, and I did that because I had a $37,000 debt to clear up.
Right.
But people liked me. They invited
Mhm.
me into their homes. I pet their animals. I talked to their kids. I had a good personality, and I realized from that job, in order to make any money, and especially with me as a Virgo rising, my second house is Libra, which is about relationships with people. I make my money by having relationships with people, and if
Mhm.
I don't bring value, I'm not going to make any money. So I
Yes.
have, and that's why I came
Yeah.
up with this whole thing about going within,
Mhm.
um, discovering the divine,
Mhm.
and following the divine. And most people don't do that.
Right. Exactly.
And I
Exactly.
want to basically introduce that to people and say, hey, you know what? Talk to God, pray.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be all religious and preachy.
no, it's not. This
Right.
is on my website. This is what I talk about examples of how to pray. Okay,
Yeah.
basically, don't say any prayers. The only thing you say in the morning is help me.
Mhm.
Not help me God, not help me Jesus, help me. And then
Mhm.
at night you say thank you. And
Mhm.
that's it. Do that for a week and then
Yeah.
write down in your journal things that have come up and then do that for a month and you'll see for yourself
Yeah.
getting divine help just by
Yeah.
asking for it.
Yeah. I start every morning up. As soon as my eyes are open, I say thank you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a simple process. And that's basically what my
Yeah.
message is.
Yeah. It's not, yeah, it's not rocket science, but we've
No,
been conditioned to believe otherwise, right? So, but I feel that where you're going with all this, um, you, you're going to see things really very differently. Like even this year, wait now, I want to go back to your other chart. Boop. Okay, we kind of digressed. We're all over the place. It's just,
sorry.
no, don't apologize. It just is what it is. So this year, 2024, has been about work for you. This has been about what is my foundation? How do I, I mean, you just sold the apartment buildings, which is great, right? So that puts you in a little bit of a different, you know, um,
Exactly.
frame, a financial frame, whatever. So you can make a few more decisions based on what you want to do. but it's about I'm looking at my options, I'm looking at where I live, I'm looking at the city that I'm in, and now you're saying, well, I think I might want to live in Greece because for whatever reasons. This is becoming clearer for you because you have the magnifying glass over your year. Okay, so 2024, you came into a 22-4. Okay. 22-4 personal year with an 11 essence. So this is not just a 4 personal year, John. This is a 22-4 personal year. That means that you're looking at your foundation, but you're not just looking at it as just John creating a new foundation. This is about John working in partnership with others. This is your interest in doing something different about NA, and maybe developing a new chapter in a different direction with different principles, or, it's partnering. And you got it right. The foundation is 4 posts in the ground, right? The 4 is 4 posts in the ground. But it's not if it's a 4, that's you. If it's a 22-4, that's you in partnership with others. So it's getting other people to see your vision. It's getting other people to say, yes, I get it. You're right. I'm going to help you with that. And the 11 is like, again, it's this big, huge spotlight on your year that says, okay, John, you can look around, you can pull your head out of the sand, and you can really see what needs to happen. You become the not the idea, the visionary. Okay, you're already a visionary, and that kind of keeps you somewhat isolated in some respects, because there's a part of you that I feels like this isn't even your planet, right? These are not your people. This is people don't really necessarily get you or understand you.
Well, I have Pluto in the first house and Uranus in the first house. So I'm Uranian and Plutonian. But I also have Venus and I have a stellium. I have a 7-planet stellium in my first house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
got the sun, the moon, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Pluto, and Uranus.
I'm going
All
into that
in the
next
first house
year.
in Virgo. Huh?
I'm going into that next year. I just talked to my astrologer yesterday or last week or something.
About what?
About a stellium coming into place next year where all the planets are all banked in one spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my kind
Don't
of
laugh at
energy.
me.
That's my kind of energy, man.
Oh, I know, right? I'm a little
Yeah.
bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie. It's my one personal year with a 16-7 essence. WTF? Like,
You're gonna have
seriously?
67
Don't
essence?
talk to that.
Oh, is that what you're looking for? You said you're looking forward to that, right?
No, I'm not
I
really.
know, I know. You
But
said it's coming. That's what you said.
16-7, here's the thing though. The 16, and you're an example of it because you've been through it for so long.
You said
I've
I
been
was in
through
it
my
for seven.
share.
You said I was in it for 7 years.
7 years, yes, before you came out
Wow.
in
It
2023.
it felt like it.
Oh, that's a
You know,
long time.
the stuff that I'm doing right now, I've been wanting to do this for years. I
Yes.
knew what I wanted to do. I knew what my mission was, but I couldn't manage because my mom was still alive. I still had the apartment buildings. I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So when my mom passed away, it was like, oh, thank God she's gone, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. She had a great life, don't get me wrong, but I was
Yeah.
like relieved when she passed away. Oh my
Oh, I
God.
understand that. Yeah.
34 years I was like managing these apartment buildings that I never wanted to.
Right. Right. So
I
you
was good
find, yeah,
at it.
right. But now
I was
you're
good at
able
it.
to see what
Oh,
needs to be done and where you need to go and what you want to do, and you're
I'm
tapping
free
into.
now.
But you know what? In fairness, too, most 11s don't really come into their own until they're well into their 50s.
Right.
They really don't. They don't mature into what they're intended to do until they're well into their 50s. Now you have been through the school of hard knocks. There is no question. That's
Don't get me
a
wrong.
long time.
I had a great time with my mom. I had a great time with all my tenants. I learned a lot. I
Yeah.
wasn't really complaining ever for
Mhm.
being this way, but I'm in my mind, I'm like, one day I'm going to get out of this, and
Yes.
that day happened.
Yes.
So I was like, because I had like all these things that I wanted to do that I'd rather be doing, I'd
Yes.
rather be doing, and that's what
Right.
I'm doing now.
And I'm
So
sure your mother, when she left, went, "Thank God I'm gone."
yeah,
So he
she's
can get on with
grateful.
his life too, right?
She had a long life,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I heard I'm in my maturity number is the 22-4, right?
Just a sec. No, I've got your maturity numbers at 13-4, which to me makes more sense.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, 13-4 says,
Can you go ahead?
yeah, 13-4 says you might face, especially as it relates to career and work, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. Now, the maturity number goes between the ages of about 35 to 50, give or take. Okay, so that would kind of make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Experience a lot of obstacles with regards to your work during that timeline. Yeah. Well, the other thing that's going on too is you've got a life path period, which is long-term cycle. This one started for you in January of 2021. Takes you right until the end of your life, and it's a 6. Okay. So the 6 is that sense of responsibility to home and family and learning, how much of this is really my responsibility.
Hmm.
Um, when did your mom start to fail?
It was about a year, the 2020. Well, she started going on oxygen about 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, why do you ask?
Well, because you went into that life path period of 6 in 2021, which made me think that, your commitment to her might have really significantly increased.
It increased in 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
This
Okay.
got worse and worse.
Yes.
She really started getting bad around 2017, but in 2021, I mean, I moved into my mom's house 2000 COVID, during COVID.
Hmm.
Because yeah, right when COVID happened, that's when I moved into my mom's house. Because I was like my sister, I'm like, Patty, mom's been going to the hospital 6 times in the ER in a year. I go, I don't feel comfortable not living with her. You
Right.
know, I talked to my sister. She's like, go ahead and move in if you want. So I moved in with her during COVID. I mean, when
Hmm.
was COVID? 2020?
Right.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then she got worse and worse every year. I
Yeah.
feel, yeah.
Yeah. So that timeline kind of sorts itself out, right? So, and then we have the pinnacle, which is also a long-term cycle. This one started for you in January of 2021. It will also take you to the end of your life, and it's a 5. So the 5, what's kind of cool about this is the 5 says, shake it up, make it different. I'm going to get bored. I'm restless. I want some change. The 6 is all about your home. Go ahead, move to Greece. Like seriously, what's holding you here?
You know,
Like,
my attitude number is a 5.
is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, 20, yeah, 8 plus 2 plus 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm
So,
familiar with that energy.
yep, absolutely. And there is do you know the website Astro Danced?
Yeah, yeah, I love that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you checked out the locational astrology?
Yeah, I have.
So look at where it is you propose to move to Greece and see
Yeah,
what it says.
it basically says that I can either move to my dad's hometown, which is called Kipaisia, and that would make me on my Jupiter line, Jupiter MC line.
Okay.
Or I can move to Kalamata, which is 45 minutes away, and Kalamata and Athens are my Mercury line, Mercury MC line.
Okay.
So now I'm not too sure. I'm leaning towards moving to my Mercury line because Mercury is my chart ruler.
Okay.
But well, I shifted my natal chart to Greece, and you know where my stellium falls? Instead of the first house, it falls in the 10th house.
Which is career?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
So,
interesting.
and if I want to do my writing and my stuff like that, I'd rather be on my Mercury line, which is either Athens between Athens and Kalamata. But if I go to Jupiter, I'll be more famous.
Hmm.
However, if I go on my Jupiter line, the chances of me getting fatter and gaining weight is huge.
It's Greece. Get over it.
Yeah, but I'm a vegetarian. Did I tell you I'm a vegetarian?
No, no.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, and I'm just about to shift into becoming a vegan. I just bought some plant-based butter today,
Hmm.
and I also eat a lot of cheese. And I just heard a couple of days ago that they make cheese out of beans
Okay.
that tastes better than cheese made out of dairy.
All
So
right.
I got
Oh,
into that. Yeah,
that'll
because
be
if
interesting.
I can do that, I can see myself becoming a vegan next 6 months.
Well, no, I can see that too, because the thing is, your life path number is an 11, but your expression number is also an 11. Did you know that?
My name.
Yeah, from your full name on your birth
Right.
certificate. Yeah, is an 11 as well.
Right.
So
Right.
this, your life path number brings in the lessons that you chose to learn. So this relates to the number 3 and the 8. Okay. Um, and then we look at your name on your birth certificate. This brings in the talents and the gifts that you chose to bring in with you. So, the 11 in its truest and best form is somebody who is tapping into their creative potential and finding a way to use that creative potential to inspire other people.
Right. That's basically about the gist of what I'm trying to
And
do.
that's what you're doing. Right, exactly. So I think that's great. And your heart's desire number is a 3, which says, I am the communicator, I am the writer. I want to speak.
I want to bring joy and happiness to people.
Exactly. Right. So that's exactly it. And you have a sense of responsibility to that because of your birthday vibration being the 6, being born on the 24th day. So what's really cool about your chart is that we know that you went in, was it 2023? You went into that 11 essence. You've had it all this year. You're going to have it all next year. You're going to have it all for 2026. You're going to have it for 2027. I don't even know when it ends. All I'm telling you is that you are so tapped in right now, John. Like the veil that exists between us and the other side for you is a really thin veil right now. You're better tapped in right now than what you probably have been ever in your life. And I feel like there's something, I don't know, really, really unique, something unseen yet.
About me?
Yeah, unseen by you. That's coming, like it's like you have this 9-year cycle, and we all kind of go through it, right? But for you, it's like you've got such clarity around it because you've got the lights on. The 11 brings in the amplification, the illumination of that particular year. Okay, so for example, this year, the illumination was around the number 4, which is around your work, right? Next year is the 5. The illumination is around change. What do I need to change? You'll see it. You don't have to question it. You don't have to second guess it. You're going to see it very clearly. There won't be any, head case stuff going on, wondering, ooh, should I not? It's going to be very clear to you. If you stay in your heart and get out of your head, it's going to be very clear for you. Right? I just want
Well, it seems to me like it seems to me like I I have a feeling that I know where I'm going.
okay.
And also I'm not at all in a hurry to get there.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm not at all in a hurry because I know it's going to be
What does that
happening.
feel like?
Huh? What do you mean?
What does that feel like? I always get very anxious about where I'm going. So
No,
love
I
that.
mean, I've done so much meditation and prayer, and I don't call God God anymore. I like to use the word divinity and the divine.
Yeah, me too.
And because it's like I'm so, I mean, like when I tell you, and I tell everybody else, go within, discover the divine, and follow the divine. I've been following the divine since like I got into the 16-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you
So
had to. What choice
my,
did
my
you have?
my best friend is the divine.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not it's not another human being.
Right.
Okay. I have other human beings that I consider best friends, but my true best friend is I when I go into these AA meetings, okay, I'll say this, I'll say I pray unceasingly,
Okay.
which means nonstop.
Yes.
And the people in the rooms of AA are like, gotcha, John. I do the same thing, bitch. You
Hmm.
know? And the people in AA, most of them, the people that are around like my clean time, like 20, 30 years, they pray unceasingly.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the people in NA, they don't.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like I couldn't vibe with them.
Yeah, I
I had to
understand
get
that.
out of there.
Yeah.
I had to get out of there. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I mean, if you think like the number of years that I've been like connected to my higher power and and divinity, it's like why be in a hurry? I know my higher power's got my back. I
Mm-hmm.
can't do anything wrong. There's no
Mm-hmm.
wrong thing I can do. If there is, I'll just fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So oh, here's another thing about me that most people don't understand. I don't ever worry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about anything
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, it's because you surrendered. You see, that was the process.
you think that, I think all those years in the 16-7 did that to me though.
Yes,
But
it did.
yeah.
So there's an affirmation that I created for, actually, I created it because I'm a 16-7, but also because my best friend needed it at the time. I'll share it with you because I think it might be helpful.
Okay.
Uh, if nothing else, you can share it at some of your meetings. But this affirmation goes, well, let me tell you the story first. My best friend came to me because she said, I've been without a partner for 16 years, had my baby, and my husband left me shortly afterwards. So I've waited 16 years, raised her by myself, and now I'd like to be in a relationship. So what do I do? And I said, well, your innate life path. You're a bit of a control freak. So you have to kind of do it my way. If you're going to do it at all, you got to do it my way. And she said, yeah, I think I can do that. So, all right. So we're going to say it this way. We're going to say, I'm just so grateful that you are bringing me the perfect life partner in the perfect timing for me. Okay. And she said, well, yeah, okay, but I'm a nurse, right? And I would like for him to be a doctor, and I'd like for him to have a good education. And I want him to, and I said, no, you can't do that. I said, we're not going there. We're not doing vision boards. We're not going law of attraction here. We're just surrendering and trusting. Okay. So let's do that again. I am so grateful that you are bringing me the perfect, insert here, whatever it is, in her case, life partner. Okay. But the reason I phrase it this way is because when we do it this way, I'm so grateful that you're bringing me the perfect, pause. I'm surrendering. I am not describing it. I'm not putting conditions on it. I'm not vision boarding it. I'm not law of attractioning it. And then in the perfect timing for me is when I trust that they've got it handled, and then I walk away. Okay. So she did this for about 3 months. And after 3 months, she calls me up and she said, oh my God, Ann, I found my life partner. I found him. And I said, you gotta be kidding. That fast? Yes, she said, I just had to get out of my own way and stop describing him and such. I had to just kind of get out of the own way. She said, he's not just my life partner, he's my soulmate. I'm like, that's amazing. Tell me about him. She said, well, he sure didn't come in the package I was looking for. I said, what do you mean? She said, he rolled up to me in a wheelchair as a paraplegic. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. She said, he'll never walk again. He was in a horrific car crash. And, I'm a nurse. I was not looking for someone else to take care of. But she said, that guy over there who will never walk again, that is my soulmate. And had I described him the way I wanted him to be, I would have overlooked him and never would have found him.
Wow.
Yeah. So, sometimes what's within our best interest is right in front of us. But because we're so busy trying to create something else, we miss it. Right? It was very powerful. And I used it. I used it through COVID. I proved a point through COVID. I remember, I live out in the country, and I remember occasionally I would want to go out to Costco. And who wants to go to Costco during COVID, like the height of COVID? Like, you didn't want to go there. But every now and again I had to go. So I would sit in my driveway in my car and I would say, I'm just so grateful you're finding me that perfect parking spot at Costco in the perfect timing for me. And then I wouldn't think about it again. I'd drive to the city, I'd pull into Costco, and if my perceived perfect parking spot was not available to me, I would know that it's dangerous for me to go in there.
Wow.
So it always took care of me because it basically, if my parking spot wasn't available to me, I still win, right? Whether I get to go in or I don't, I still win either way because I let them handle it. And then I don't know if you had this in the States or not, but we had an app where if let's say you're out shopping, it's a Saturday afternoon and you went into the drugstore and you did a few things and stuff, and you come home and you find out, oh God, I just tested positive, right? You can go on this app and go, sorry guys, I tested positive and I was in Shoppers Drug Mart at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So I set that affirmation in motion 3 times in one afternoon for 3 different stores that I went into. I'm so grateful you found me the perfect parking spot at the hardware store, at the drugstore, at the grocery store. And I went home and I looked at the app, And do you know what, John? I dodged COVID and a direct exposure to COVID on all 3 times within 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See?
That's how good that affirmation works. Yeah. So I would use it. I'm just saying I would use it. Now I want you to know that your 11 essence, this crazy big ass light that's shining down on you and illuminating everything, helping you to, like, this is going to take you to a spiritual awakening like you can't even imagine. Every year, what are we in 2024? So 2024 is your 4 year. So that's illumination around your work. 2025 is illumination around the changes that you need to make. 2026 will be illumination around your home, your family, your relationship with your sister, where you're living, your family in Greece.
My sister's going to retire in 2 years, so she's probably going to. We're going to do this year when I go to Greece in the summer in 2025. Um, we're going to go and we're planning on hiring people to build a house, and it'll probably take like a year. And
Yep.
when she retires and moving in the house, we'll probably move in 2026.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So 2020, 2026, that's absolutely perfect. It's a 6 personal year for you with an
Yeah.
11 essence. So you're just going to know. You're going to know where to put that house. You're going to know what to put in that house. You're going to know who to hire for that to do the building for that house. Like you're going to be very tapped in. 2027, I can't wait to see what happens there. That's a 7 personal year, which is about again introspection, reflection. Who am I? Where do I want to go? What's my next move? What's the next course I want to take? How do I want to expand in this? And then when we come into 2028, that's an 8 personal year. Still have the 11 essence, but only up until your birthday. Okay, that's an extensive period of time for when you think about what I went through in my one swing at the 11 essence. Yeah, this is quite something. So you're going to go into a 7 essence in 2028. So your 7 essence is going to make you think about your money. This is going to make you think about, what have I got to work with? How do I invest it? How far is it going to go? How long have I got to live off of this? What are the different ways I could be making money? How could I make my money on a more spiritual level? Is it teaching courses? Is it creating a membership? Is it whatever? It could also be examining your own personal power and recognizing where in your life maybe you had been giving it away. You definitely gave it away when you were doing drugs.
Yeah.
So that could be a time when you're revisiting it. You might end up writing a book about that experience in that year. If you haven't already. That has to be written, you know that, right?
Yeah, I have an idea, but basically, I've been doing that. Like, I have a video that I wrote called "Bringing Divinity to the Darkness," and that basically is like an introduction to my recovery and my life, my spiritual
Yeah,
life. So
yeah.
it's like I think, a 15-minute video.
Hmm.
Um, I want to be redoing that video in the next few months or whatever, whenever I can, when I want to see it. But I got like stuff to add to it or to take out it, minor stuff that I got to do to that video to
Hmm.
update it properly. But it's called "Bringing Divinity to the Darkness," and
Cool.
that was my tagline that I came up with.
Yeah, I like it. I like
Thank
it.
you.
I do think though that I do feel that you need to somehow, and yeah, that's why. Okay, that's why you have to wait for that one because you've got a lot of processing to do before you can really nail it. I wrote a book this year. It's taken me 2 years probably to write it. I'm somewhat finished it. I've somewhat finished it. I don't like the ending. The ending needs to be tweaked a little bit. I had planned on having it published this year. But this is a 9 year for me, so I just kept dragging my heels. But one of the reasons I was dragging my heels is because I felt that I had some shifts and some healing to go through. Um, I I don't want my book to come from a victim mentality, although I do believe that the crap that we go through is meant to be shared so that we can help others to get through it. But I just felt like there's some stuff I had to go through and some healing I needed to do to uncover stuff. And so now I feel like I have to go back to my book and tweak some of the chapters somewhat so that it becomes more of a positive learning experience rather than, I don't know.
Experiential.
Yeah. And I just feel like that's sort of where you're at, is that there's stuff that you haven't seen yet. Like, I just feel like there's stuff you have to see, that there's stuff you haven't yet processed, and it's kind of there, but it's not quite here yet. And when it gets to here, that's what you're going to put in the book. And it would be a futile effort if you tried to do it any sooner. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, timing is amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned over the years to be patient. I'm a very patient person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I don't know if you've ever heard of the Greek term kairos and chronos.
Yes, I don't know what it means, but I've heard of it.
It's about time.
Oh,
Like time. Chronos is like the watch.
okay.
That's chronos time. It's like 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 hours, 5 years, 10 years. And then the other type of time is kairos. And in Greek, the word kairos is similar to weather,
Okay.
like the weather changes
So
all the time.
seasonal.
Well, not only seasonal, but even during the seasons, one day it's going to rain, one day it's going to, all of a sudden it's going to be foggy, and one day it's going to be this. So just like the changes in the weather, like I have like a lot. Here's an instance, okay? My people, I'd be going to these AA meetings, right? And they'd be like, "Hey, John, are you going to come here next week?" Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to. I'm not sure if I'm going to. So you know what I tell them? I'm planning on it.
Yeah, it's my intention.
Yeah, I'm planning on it, and then I let it go. And if I
Yeah.
go, I go. If I don't go, some other plans came up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of saying like, because things can change. How can I tell them I'm going to be there next week? It's like
Mm-hmm.
if it's my home group, then I'll be there next week because it's my home group and I'm going to make an effort to get there. But if it's not my home group, who knows if I want to go there or not?
Right. Right.
That's Keros. Keros is like when the time is right, it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. I love
Okay,
that.
that's
Mm-hmm.
Keros time.
Yeah.
So basically, like for this book, um, I had the second book. This is book Alpha. The second book Omega that I just finished. I basically had everything done in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
I've been sitting on it
Yeah.
until the time was right to get it
Mm-hmm.
done. And then I got it done, and now it's almost done. And yeah,
So what do you think was the reason that you had to go through the drug and alcohol addiction?
to get closer to God.
Yeah.
God wanted my attention,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I have like this very drastic, and not I don't know if drastic's the right word, but basically the way I look at drug use is when I'm smoking a joint, I'm
Mm-hmm.
basically saying, excuse my language, fuck you, God. I don't need you anymore in my life. I got this. Fuck you, God. I got this. Or if I'm drinking alcohol, like
Yeah.
screw you, God. I don't need you in my life. You
Yeah.
know? So I was basically saying F you and screw you to God for all these years of my using from like 18 to 27, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I basically got to a point where I thought my my higher power, I thought God abandoned me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to a point where I realized God was always with me and I abandoned him,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So my surrender, you know what it was? When I got clean and sober in November 19th, the day before my clean day, I threw my hands up in the air and I said, I'll do anything you want. Just don't ever let me use.
Mm-hmm.
Then as my hands were coming down, I had like goosebumps and like my hairs were sticking up and it was warm sensation. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next thought in my head was, why don't you get your ass to a meeting?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for the first 3 years of my recovery, I thought that was my thought. And then after working the steps, I realized maybe that was God talking to me.
So interesting because my stepson is a severe addict, um,
Okay.
alcoholic and addict,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's been in and out of jail. He's selling. He's living in a one room in an old lady's house in the city, and we can't trust him to bring him out to the house, unfortunately.
Exactly.
You just I just can't, Um, so but it's very hard because he just makes really bad decisions, right? I mean, he's been an addict. He'll be 40, and he's been an addict since he was about 17. So long journey. And every opportunity, like he's had every opportunity. He's had all the really good rehabs. We've put him through the whole thing, whatnot. And he just refuses to step ahead. So,
Yeah.
and you can't do it for them. So good for you. I'm
That's the
happy for you, and I'm
important
proud of you
thing
that you've
about
done that.
that. I've listen, being in recovery all these years, I've had so many people coming into the rooms. Like this past meeting I went to my home group on Tuesday, there was this guy there. He must have been like in his late 60s, early 70s, and his wife was divorcing him,
Mhm.
and then he got drunk and he fell down the stairs and he broke one of his spines, the
Yeah.
L1 or whatever it is all
Yeah.
messed up now, and he was in the hospital for like 5 or 6 days. And he's out of the hospital now, but he's in a lot of pain. And his wife, who's going to divorce him, visited him every single day.
Mhm.
She's told him like, "I'm still going to divorce you," you know.
Mhm.
So he's like he's like in this setting of with me there and like 30 other people.
Yeah.
And I basically told him, I go, "Listen, you're in the right place." I go, "This is a whole brand new start for you." I go, "If you want to do this, you can do this. There's a lot of people in these rooms that want to help you. And if you
Mhm.
want help, you'll get it." That's the whole thing. If they want it, they can get it. But you can't speak to it's for we say the recovery is for people who want it, not people who need it.
Mm. Couldn't agree with you more because
And
I,
it's
I know
like,
I remember my ex-husband's an alcoholic and he would go to the meetings and he'd say, there's people in there that are way worse off than me. I don't want to hang out there, because they're in so much better or so much worse shape than I
where's
am.
Shay? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not that bad. So he'd go occasionally and he'd be like, he'd come out of it and go, oh, I'm not that bad.
Do you
So
remember when you were telling me earlier in the reading about my inner critic?
yes,
Yeah, I got like a really good relationship with my inner critic over the
good.
years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got in touch with my inner child,
Mhm.
little Johnny, and I've done so much work on myself over the years that I see things more simply now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's and if people want help, they can reach out and get it. If they
Mhm.
think they're okay, then I don't call it, people in the rooms call it the disease or alcoholism. I don't call it that. I call it the darkness.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, people like the
Yeah.
the
It's a
darkness.
choice.
People like the darkness. They like
Yeah.
lying, cheating. They like the lifestyle. It's
Mhm.
like you want to let it go. If you want to let it go, the darkness just envelops you. You know, and it's sad. It's sad when that happens, but there's a way out if they want it.
But it's also, I feel that it is a choice.
It is a choice. It's a solid choice.
It is because I mean, both my mother and father were alcoholics. My grandparents on both sides were alcoholics. I think my great grandfather might have been, not certain, but I come from a family of three kids, and all three of us are fine. We don't have any issues with alcohol. So I'm not 100% sold on the concept that it's a disease, that it's a genetic disease. I'm not going to say it's not a disease, but I'm not
Well,
convinced that it comes genetically.
when
That's
I say disease, I don't mean like genetic disease.
right.
I don't mean that. And that's not what narcotics means either. Disease is not being not at ease.
Right. It's a form
Yeah.
of dis-ease.
It's a form of disease. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to talk about it as the darkness, because when
Mhm.
you tell somebody who has the disease or symptoms of the disease, the dark, they can identify with the darkness like right away.
Yes. Yes.
The lying, the cheating, they can identify. And
Yeah.
I have one quote that I like to say. The darkness happens when you turn your back to the light,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's that simple. You turn your back and then you're going to the darkness. You turn your back
Yeah.
and you're going to the light.
Yeah.
It's that black and white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do you choose today? Do you choose
So John,
God?
maybe the next step with your YouTube channel
Yeah, yeah.
needs to be more of a podcast.
A what?
A podcast.
Yeah. That's what my sister tells me.
Uh-huh. I think that it needs to be because true transparency, you shared with me your website, or not your website, but your YouTube channel, and I did check it out. And there's all kinds of stuff in there, but it's meaningful and it's soulful and it's authentic and it's a lot of things, right? But I didn't what bothered me about it, and I'm going to share it with you because I think you've got something, right? What bothered me about it was that it is definitely your journey. There's no question. I saw your little Johnny video, and honestly, straight
Oh,
up,
yeah.
it freaked me out a little bit. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
it did. It freaked me out a little bit,
Unusual.
and yet I thought, man, is that gutsy? Like, you got a lot of balls to be able to do that. Seriously. I'm not kidding. Like I appreciated it, even though it was a little bit. I don't know, not 100%. And why I wasn't really 100% comfortable with it, I guess, was because it was very much about you. Okay, so it wasn't enough about me. And if you
Uh,
want people to watch it, it's got to be more about them than
about
it is
that.
about you.
That's what
And
the
that
podcast.
I needed to share that with you because I think that you've
Okay.
got something really good. I think your story has to be told. You're a great speaker. You're an excellent communicator. I feel like maybe you need to start having some kind of a podcast, just interviews. Like take some people from your meetings, get them
That's what I
to come
want to
on
do.
and
That's
talk.
my next step. I have a lot of people lined up to interview, and
Yeah,
I have my mom's old furniture in my living room as a set, well, French provincial furniture.
yeah.
And I've been meaning. That's one thing I've been meaning to do is to get. I got dozens of people that I want to talk with, and maybe like have two people and
Mhm.
me, the three of us,
Yeah.
or one on one, both.
But
Um,
theme it up because where you lost me because I saw you start out with the beach and whatnot, and that's all cool and stuff. And then all of a sudden you started talking like little Johnny, and I'm like, I good thing that I know about it. I know about the inner child, but all of a sudden, like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, you
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
lost me, you kind of lost me, and I think it would freak a lot of people out. So you didn't, I don't think there was enough of a segue into that. I think it was very
Okay.
valuable what you did, but I just felt like it was kind of like, boom, here we go. And I'm like,
Out
what
of
just
nowhere.
happened? It,
Out of nowhere, right? Yeah.
right. So it was just a little bit disturbing because I didn't get the connection to where you were going. I knew what you were doing, but I didn't get enough of I was trying to be somebody who could really be helped by this, who doesn't know about the inner child, but you didn't give me enough of a warm up to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, setup. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no
I kind
segue.
of like sprung it up on yeah, yeah,
Exactly. But I thought
yeah.
it was valuable what you did, but it was just the way that it was done. I thought, maybe a little differently. But I honestly feel that all of these experiences, you've got a really good handle on AA and NA and all these sorts of things. God knows you've been there long enough. Maybe if you could look at next year, okay? So we got January through to December. Create a theme for every month, okay? So January, new start. How do we get a new start? Right? And make that your theme for your discussion so that you stay on task. Okay. Bring a couple of the guys in or gals in or whatever into that discussion and say, what is your plan in January? What is your plan for the next year? How are you going to stay on the straight and narrow? What has worked for you? What trips you up? So have it structured so that people can actually follow it and get benefit from it, and title it in such a way that people know what they're about to watch,
What they're going into, yeah.
right? And then
Okay.
February, of course, February is Valentine's Day. What are we going to talk about? Relationships. Okay. We go into March. March is a 3 month. What's the three about? It's communication. How do you communicate? How have you improved your communication skills? How are you able to explain to people what you're going through? How do you ask for help when you need it, right? You go into April. April's a 4 month. It's about the structure. What's your plan? Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like if you could kind of structure it up a little bit and make it so that it was um, a little tighter, you know?
Yeah, that's why I haven't made any new videos since August because I'm trying to get a new direction of where I want to
Right,
go.
right.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
was
But
just
maybe
putting
this is
stuff
it.
up. Yeah,
You're good
yeah.
at it, John. I think you're really good at it. And I feel like if you do it right, you simply do it on Zoom, right? You don't have to have everybody in the same room. You just do it on
Yeah,
Zoom.
with intention. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then but set it up so that January, we're going to talk about new beginnings. How are we going to set ourselves up for a positive 2025, and make that your theme. And then, then you go into February, talk about relationships. And you know how to do this. You know the connotation with all the numbers. Then just
Yeah.
seasons. I mean, you've got a good grasp on seasons. Why is this not a good time to start something new? Well, because it's the winter, like you don't start something new in the winter, you start it in the spring. It's like you plant
So,
seeds.
like the fourth month, talk about like home and family and
I would do that in the sixth
structure.
month. That would be
Well, the
June.
6 months is four is more about structure and getting
Yes,
hard work done and working,
yes. And coming
getting
up with a
better
plan
over the
and
plans.
discipline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my only criticism. I'm not trying to be critical. I just wanted to share with
That's
you how
very
I felt.
helpful. I appreciate it, Ann.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, because I think that you've got a lot to work with, and there's a lot you can do with that. The other thing I would suggest to you too, um, for you, I know that you're going to do something really quite wonderful, but you need a mailing list, right? A newsletter
Yeah.
mailing list. And how I would suggest that you do that is if you go back to my YouTube channel and click on any one of my videos, right?
Yeah.
If I've done it right, any of the recent ones maybe, you'll notice that the very top comment, the comments underneath the videos, the very
Yes,
top
Ann.
comment is going to be a comment I made that says, hey, have you gotten your free exclusive video, 3 things your date of birth can reveal about you? It's what we call a lead magnet. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a freebie. So you put your freebie on your YouTube channel where people are going to see it. And when they click on it, what does it do? It takes them right back to the mothership, which is your website. Okay.
Subscription. Yeah,
And they have to sign up on your website to get whatever freebie you're giving away.
right.
And that's how you build your mailing list,
Okay.
right? There's all kinds of stuff you can do. But and the thing is, John, like you've got a history, right? And you should be proud of where you are. I know you are. But I'm proud of you. I don't even know you beyond today. And I'm proud of you for all that you've accomplished. But you've got a niche. You have a niche there
I'm
because
gonna get I'm gonna
here.
get I'm gonna get a glass of water real quick. Keep talking. I'm gonna get a glass of water real quick.
Yeah, no, go ahead. It's because it's just coming down.
Go ahead. I hear you.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. This is what just came down the pipes. I'm being told to tell you that you need to find a way to niche up your work. Okay. I feel that the fact that you are an 11 already makes you predisposed to being a highly sensitive, empathic person. Um, the 11s, it's notorious for 11s to um, become addicts, right? Because again, there's that isolation. Your vibration is up here, okay? Everybody else's vibration is kind of down here. There's this thing up here that says, I know I was born to do something amazing. I don't know what it is, and it's scaring the shit out of me, right? And I'm afraid that if I put it out there and it's a little out there and it's a little weird, people are going to reject me. And if they reject me, then who do I minister to?
Okay.
Right? Like if my crowd is gone because I put something out there that's a little weird, I can't take that risk. So what the 11 does is they drop their vibration, right? They keep dropping their vibration and they try to become who you think we want you to be. And you lose yourself. And that's when you go to the drugs. Okay. So
That's your tribe. Those are the people you need to reach out to. Those are the people who need to hear from you. I'm getting emotional talking about it. That's what you're here for. There is a movie, I just watched it, and I don't know if it was on Prime or whether it was on Netflix. I have a funny feeling it might have been on Prime. It's a documentary called Highly Sensitive People, The Untold Story, I think. And it's starring Alanis Morissette, the singer. You need to check that out.
Okay.
But I feel like if I can get you to stop casting your net out here, and let's cast the net here. Your impact, the reason why you're here, the reason why you went through all those years of drug abuse and alcohol abuse, you're going to hit the ones that need it the most if you keep your focus a little tighter than what you've been, right? You got lots of ideas, and you get the 5 influence, of course, it's causing you to be a little scattered all over the place. But if you're really going to find satisfaction and you're really going to make a contribution, you need to tighten up your focus. You need to kind of nail your niche, if you will. And that niche comes from the experiences that you've been through. So the people that you should be appealing to are the addicts. They are the alcoholics. These are that is why they're alcoholics. This is why they're highly sensitive people. God bless my stepson. He's a 16-7, same as me. I get him. Yeah, I can't change him, right? But sometimes with my specialty is, as you likely know, is working with 11s. Why? Because I get them. Why do I get them? I'm not an 11. My growth number is an 11. My first name, ANN, vibrates at the 11, which says this is what I need to grow into, is to minister to, without sounding preachy, but to cater to the 11 crowd. And, if you watch my video, and you may not have seen it, but the one that says, why is the master number 11 so challenging? I got like 200,000 views on it or something ridiculous. Like and every comment's the same. Oh my God, you see me, you get me, you identified me, you hear me. I actually, have been acknowledged. Nobody's ever done that before. No one's ever actually, so watch that video. I can send it to you if you want.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that it just came down. It came crashing down, John. I just feel like you have to, I'm going to send you two resources to look at.
Yeah, I realize I'm not for everybody, and I realize that there's
Me either. Yeah.
amount of people that they're gonna be okay with me. So yeah, that doesn't bother me either. But I mean, I'd rather be more focused on like who who exactly I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so they could find me too. So
Well, do you know what the prayer that I put out every single day?
no, what is it?
I am so grateful that you are bringing me the perfect clients to read for in the perfect timing for us.
Nice.
Right? And like I said to you, when I saw your video yesterday, I looked at it and I went, oh my God, what am I walking into? Like, what am I going to do here? But I've thoroughly enjoyed our time together. And I knew I would, because that's just how it works with me. I'll get a little uptight and think, ooh, how can I help this person and whatnot? And I feel like we have made some headway today. I feel like we have made some gains. And I just, I want to share a few more resources with you. I'll email them out to you of how to get a little, you've got such a huge desire to make a difference because you signed that contract that said that you would. Okay. And so you're going, oh, all right, this book, and I'll do this, and then I'll do that, and I'll create this website, and then I got this website going over here, and then I got these videos going on, right? And you got the net cast right out here, and you're catching all kinds of crabs and fish and dolphins and sharks, and you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to make enough of a difference. You're just throwing shit against the wall, hoping something's going to stick. Okay? Been there, done it, got all the t-shirts, every color. Okay? Got to focus in. who do you need to help? The ones that you can help the most, who are they? They're the ones that can relate to your story. Your story is gold. It's gold. So I have there's a course that I took. It's called Nail Your Niche. And probably one of the best courses I ever took. I think it was $200. And it's created by a guy named James Wedmore. He's an American. I think he's from California. And he teaches you how to get very dialed down, dialed into who it is you are supposed to mentor to. Where can you execute your purpose? Right? Where can you make the biggest difference? I'm going to send it to you.
All right.
The information, so you can check him out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm real good. I had never heard of essences before, but that explains like everything.
Yeah, actually, I'll send you the video on that too. It's essences are the reason I'm sitting in this chair. Honestly, because when I first learned numerology, I thought, I think it was when I got introduced to Matthew Oliver Goodwin's work. And I thought to myself, I forget what year it was, 2003, I think it was such a horrible year for me. And I thought, okay, so maybe it'll show up on the chart. That'd be interesting if it did. And sure enough, it was right there. And it was a nasty essence. And I thought, man, if I'd known that I was going to go into this crappy time at this time, and a year later I'd come out of it, I would have gone through it much differently because I was in a dark hole. All I saw was darkness. And when you're in the darkness, you don't see the light, right? So,
No,
but I can show people.
blindsided.
Right, that's right. But I can now show people, hey, you're going into a bit of a dark time. Like if I'd read for you 9 years ago, I could have said, hey, John, you're about to go into kind of a shitty place and you're going to be there until here. This is what we need to do to get you through it. But guess what? You're coming out of it here. Well, there's the light. Go for the light, right? But I didn't have that. So anyway, I'm going to send you a little video that'll help to explain that a bit better for you.
Okay, thank you. You're coming up on the 16/7 now, so I bet you're preparing a little bit for it.
For me. Yeah, I'm actually I'm trying to 16/7 essences have never been particularly good for me. But I'm trying to look at it and going, there's no way I would have signed in my contract to waste a perfectly good one personal year. So the more time
What's happening in your one personal year?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can see where I'm a little bit like, come on, seriously? But it's also a time when whatever I'm holding on to, whatever fears I might have, whatever shadows I have, that's going to be a good year to let it all go. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. So
well, maybe usually in one personal years, there's like a lot of things. There are a lot of seeds planted.
Yes.
Maybe with the 16/7, it's like you're going to do just one seed now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it,
Yeah. And I already know what the seed is. So,
okay, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, I gotta get that book published. You've inspired me to publish my book now.
You're welcome.
Anyway, my dear, I gotta let you go. Just got another one coming up behind you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And likewise, yeah. Well, we're in Canada, but
yeah, you don't celebrate. Do you celebrate or no? No.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving back in October.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I know this is your weekend for the big turkey or whatever vegetarian turkey you eat.
I got some pumpkin pie. So that's for me.
Yeah, that's wrong. Pumpkin pie is wrong. Anyway, my dear, you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for looking me up. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Look forward to your emails.
All right, take care.
Bye.